There is a term that unlocked so much freedom for me when I left Alcoholics Anonymous, and it is called ideological possession. So let's break it down today. And I also want to show you where I learned this term and how it unlocked freedom for me. Welcome to the Sobriety Bestie podcast. I am so glad you're here. My name is Kirsten, and we're going to dive into another great episode today. So I left AA in April 6, 2020. I was in AA for 10 years and I left April 6, 2020. And then in July, I came across this guy named Jordan Peterson. I had never heard of him before. I'm like 3 months, maybe 4 months out of AA at the time. And I watched a couple of his videos where he talked about this thing called ideological possession. And the way that I took that was I saw AA for the first time instead of as like a path to truth. I saw it as an ideology. It is a system, a closed system, high control system, or now I know it as a cult religion. And in that closed system, I became possessed as a metaphor. It's a metaphor, right? Became possessed by the ideology. The way that I think about it is I was like inside the ideology, like a fish is inside water, where I can't even imagine life on land or life in an airplane because I'm inside the water. I'm inside the ideology of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I don't even really know it. I know that I'm not hanging out with a lot of people outside AA. AA became like my family. I'm also not reading any outside literature. So I'm really infused inside the ideology of AA. And I did the 90 and 90 that I was recommended. So I got fully indoctrinated. That was sufficient time to indoctrinate me fully into AA ideology. And by the time I was there, a year or two, I became what is called a true believer inside of a cult system like AA. And so I lived and breathed it as if it was true. I wasn't able to take what I want and leave the rest. Mostly. I mean, there was a few things I didn't do, but mostly I believe that I needed to do it in order for me to survive, right? And so I want to show you a video that I came across that was really helped me. I'm actually pulling this out from my course. I have an online course called Deprogram, or the Deprogram course, which is all about deprogramming from your 12-step ideology. And inside my Deprogram course, I include all of the videos, podcasts, all of the resources that my first year of leaving AA really, really helped me. Y'all already know about the orange papers. That was like the biggest unlock. If you haven't heard about the orange papers yet, just go and write orange papers into Google and it's going to be a big mind blower. So anyways, I included all the resources inside my Deprogram course that helped me break free and find freedom from Alcoholics Anonymous. And so I wanted to pull out one of the videos from that course today here with you because this just came up on my Deprogram book call club today. Our Deprogram book club. Are you in the Deprogram book club? Are you in the Deprogram lounge? That is my free group for people who are deconstructing from 12-step ideology. But anyways, we have a monthly book club in there on deprogramming books. Today, our book was The Biology of Desire, Why Addiction is Not a Disease by Mark Lewis. I just made a video on that as well. If you've read this book or haven't read it and want to watch that video, I'll pop it up here and down below so you can have a little look-see-loo. I thought it was a great book, so I definitely recommend it. I also have a whole list of deprogramming books that I put together on Amazon, so I'll put my deprogram book list below if you want to see all the books that I recommend on deprogramming AA. If you want to join the free group, that's the Deprogram Lounge. I'll link that below as well. Also, if you want to check out the Deprogram course, I'll also drop that link down below. This wasn't meant to be like a commercial. I wanted to show you this video that I found super helpful and unlocked a lot of freedom for me. So this is Dr. Jordan Peterson. The video is called Dr. Jordan Peterson on Ideological Possession. Quote, "You don't have ideas, ideas have you." Let's give it a little look-see-loo. Listen-see-loo. Let's vibe it. All right.
Some personalities. And then there's Jung. Jung is much more terrifying than Freud, which is really saying a lot because Freud's quite terrifying. But Jung, he's just terrifying beyond belief. And, for Jung, the sub-personalities that make you up are thousands and thousands of years old, or cultural constructions that are thousands and thousands of years old. They have you in their grip. So for Jung, for example, one of the things he said, and I don't remember where it was, I love this phrase. It's so true. And you can think about this for like 5 years, and you can still think about it after that. One of the things Jung said was that people
I'm literally still thinking about this 5 years later because it's after I found this video in July of 2020, and it is after July of 2025. That's so funny. I'm just, like, connecting the dots. Okay, sorry, I interrupted. Let's go back a little bit.
This for like 5 years. And you can still think about it after that. One of the things Jung said was that people don't have ideas. Ideas have people. And that's really something to think about because, just think about your own situations. No doubt you have political views. I have political views. It's like, well, no, you don't, because you share them with a lot of other people. So they're certainly not yours. And not only that, they've had a very lengthy historical development far before you ever showed up, so they're rooted right at the depths of your culture. But then, of course, they've been elaborated by one philosopher or another extensively over the last 200 or 300 years. And there's this whole system of thought, and poof, it inhabits your brain. And then you think, well, I've got political views. It's like, no, the political views have you.
I love this so much. I definitely wanna know what you think about this in the comments. I think about this all the time. 5 years beyond 5 years later, just caught that just now with you for the first time because I haven't watched this in a while. I did send this it came up in our book club today, so I sent this to the person who was talking about ideological possession, essentially. I mean, he didn't call it that, but yeah, it's such a huge unlock for me, and I am like, if I could go back, I would tell myself to never go to AA, but I'm really at this point truly and genuinely grateful that I am where I'm at now, and I couldn't be where I'm at now, I guess, intellectually, without having been through a cult and having deprogrammed from it, like Alcoholics Anonymous, right? Because I wouldn't really understand this concept of ideological possession so deeply had I not been like Kirsten before AA, Kirsten inside AA, who was a whole new person, and then Kirsten leaving AA, who was a lot more like Kirsten before AA. But evolved, right? Because that was a long time ago that I joined AA in 2009. So I love this concept of ideological possession and how much it opens up my critical thinking in general. And I do think about this all the time because, especially like having lived abroad for like nearly a decade and like not having American friends really for a long time, most of my friends in Indonesia are Indonesian or Australian because Bali is very close to Australia, right? It's like America and Mexico. Like that's where the Australians go. It's to Bali, a lot of them. And so being outside of America, being outside of American ideology and being outside of American politics and stuff like that, I can see it now, like constantly, where people are possessed, whether it's politics or whatever the topic. People tend to be very possessed by these ideologies. It seems to be very common and normal. Maybe the siloedness of social media also plays into this. Definitely inside Alcoholics Anonymous, people get possessed by AA ideology. Now, not everybody. Like anytime we're talking about a cult like AA, there's going to be the core of the cult, the true believers, where I was. Then there's going to be the people on the periphery who are not possessed by the ideology. I I love Osho and I've been to Osho for months at a time. I've gone to India and gone to his meditation center and stuff. I was never in the core of that. I don't think of Osho like a cult. Some people do. If you go to Netflix and you put in cult documentaries, Wild Wild Country, I think it's called, which is an Osho documentary, will come up like at the top. A lot of people think of Osho, or his name used to be Rajneesh, and maybe back in the day when Sheila was in charge and all of that in Oregon, it was more of a cult. But anyways, I've never been in the core. I've never been in the center of Osho or Rajneesh. I've been on the periphery, so I've never been possessed by the ideology. So I don't even see it as a cult. So I get people who don't see AA as a cult. They have never been to the center and out of it, or maybe they don't understand cults in general, or maybe they've never looked deep enough at it. Because I think if you look deep enough at WTF is a cult and WTF is Alcoholics Anonymous, it'll be very clear that they map pretty much one to one in like all of the ways. But I digress. This really is about ideological possession. Because I've been possessed by an ideology and I've removed that, I've had an exorcism. Can we call it is that deprogramming? It's like an exorcism. Oh my God, I'm like spinning. Okay, so because I've been exorcised, is that the right language? Is that how you even talk about this? I've been exorcised. The demon of Alcoholics Anonymous has been removed. This is getting wacky. I literally was just like gulping coffee while we were listening to Jordan Peterson talk. And so maybe I'm just like riding the caffeine high right now. Anyways, I've deprogrammed from AA. So I'm very, very well aware and conscious of ideological possession and how it's so common amongst people. And where I stand today about most people in my perspective seeming to be ideologically possessed, specifically by American politics or other topics like Alcoholics Anonymous, is I have a lot of empathy and compassion for somebody who's possessed by the ideology because I've been there in my own way, and I don't believe in converting people anymore. I feel like this came up on our book club call too. I have no interest in converting anybody. I'm not trying to convince anybody to believe anything. I feel like that's actually kind of a harmful practice. I believe in freedom and agency and autonomy. But when people have been converted into ideologies, like I have a lot of empathy for them because I know what that's like. I've been there. So I don't try to convince people. I just really enjoy the critical thinking that I have and the awareness that I have of these ideologies and how easily we can, as humans, fall prey to them. Always an ongoing evolution, and really looking at how AA possessed us, if that's your case, if you're vibing with this concept, I just like to, amplify it out to everything else in my own pursuit of wanting to continue to evolve and be free and think clear to, yeah, I want to be able to see things more clearly, have more empathy for people who might currently be trapped in ways that I can understand because maybe I've been there, and definitely not convince anybody, and definitely also not be convinced by other people. Like, to stay steady in my own critical thinking journey and not let ideologies possess me. Be more, I guess, independent or authentic in my own thinking. Yeah, so that's it. Here's a video I wanted to present for you. All the links I'll put below: the Deprogram Lounge, the Deprogram Book Club, the Deprogram course, all of the deprogramming things. But most importantly, I want to hear from you. What did you think about this? Were you ideologically possessed by Alcoholics Anonymous, or have you been possessed by a different ideology? Do you have a greater perspective now that you're no longer fully possessed by it, on your way out of it? Have you already had the exorcism, been exorcised? And had the spirit of AA removed from you? Yeah. What do you think about that as a metaphor? For me, it totally fits. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, take care. Bye.